Hello backpackers, this is Juan from Backpacks, and I'm here to do a first look of the Gossamer Mariposa 60-liter pack that has been redesigned for 2025. And I am really excited about this pack, and I'm going to tell you why in a minute, but first I'm going to pull it out. It's sitting over here. It's sitting right beside me. Let's take a look at it. Whew. There it is in all its glory, the Mariposa 60-liter pack. Do a little walk around here. This is my first look video, so I'll talk to you a little bit about the specs that drew me to this piece of gear. I'm not going to talk about all the specs. You can always go to the Gossamer Gear website to see all the details, but I'll just talk about some of the higher level specs that I really like about this pack. I'm going to talk about some of the features, so I'll do a little bit of a walk around of the features, and I'm also going to address, as I'm doing that, some use cases, some reasons that I brought this into my kit, because I did have a 60-liter pack that once I received this and I saw what they did to it, I'm like, I only need one now, so I'm going to get rid of that. So this is the one that can only be one. What do they say? There can be only one. Mariposa. So let's go ahead and dive into it. First off, I want to tell you about my experience with the first Mariposa pack I had that I did the John Muir Trail with. I did 260 miles with that pack, and quite honestly, within the first 3-4 days, I had decided that I wasn't going to keep that pack. I was really excited about it. It was very popular at the time. A lot of folks were using it on through hikes, but there was one thing that I didn't like about it that I just couldn't get over, and they've corrected that one thing in spades. That one thing was the way it carried weight. I loved the design of the pockets, how it helped me organize my gear. Absolutely incredibly well thought out pack in terms of that, and I'll dive into that in a minute. It fit a BV 500 in there nicely with room to spare with my ultralight gear. And so I really liked a lot of things about the pack, but there was one thing, it was the way that it carried weight. In the old version, I'm going to pull this around here to show the load lifters. In the old version, the load lifters did not tie in up here. They tied in almost right behind the bottom of the straps here. And all it really did when you tighten those load lifters, all it really did was brought the material of the packing closer to your back. It wasn't really transferring much weight into the frame of the pack. This is a framed pack, and down into the hip belt. So they've redesigned the load lifters. And what they've done is they've raised them up, which is where they need to be to really transfer weight. So you can see there, they're above the straps now. They're also tied into the frame. And so there's a direct tie into the frame here. And so then it pulls, and then it transfers the weight down into your hip belt, down into your hips. And so when I saw that they redesigned the load lifters, I immediately ordered it because I loved everything else about this pack. Some of the specs on this pack, before I dive into some of the details, the specs on the pack that I looked at, number one, it's a 60-liter pack. So it's great for when I carry a big bear can like a BV 500. It's great for, trips of 7 days or more where I've got to carry 7, 9, 10 days of food, which is the Uinta Highline. I'm planning to do the Uinta Highline again this year. And so I'll be carrying probably 8 days of food, something like that. And I find with my 40-liter pack, it's just a little bit too much in the beginning. Yes, once I eat it down, it's fine, but it's just kind of a pain fitting everything into my pack in a 40-liter pack, especially if there's snow and you got to carry snow, an ice axe, and a couple other pieces of gear. So anyway, some of the specs. The inside of the pack, the main compartment is 36-liter. The pockets all around, that's what gets it to the 60-liter. It's 24 liters. So 36 plus 24 is 60. So you got a total of 60 liters spread out across with a pretty nice sized main compartment. The weight of this pack is 34.2 ounces. It's made of a nylon. It is not like one of those like space age materials, but it's still coming in at a very respectable weight for a framed pack at 34.2 ounces. That's my medium with a medium belt. Okay, medium pack with a medium belt. It's a little bit lighter if you go down to small and small, a little bit heavier if you go the other way. I think that's good, respectable weight for a 60-liter pack that can carry 30 pounds comfortably is what they've advertised. And I have test loaded this with 25 pounds of gear, and it felt really good with 25 pounds in it. So I have a hard time believing that you can't add another 5 pounds and hit that 30-pound mark. And I think they're accurate though. I think just a feel thing. I think once you get over that 30 pounds, you start pushing 35, you can do it, but it's going to be less comfortable. So that's one thing I think Gossamer Gear does a nice job about. They really are truthful in the way that they rate their pack weights, I think. So at any rate, the load lifters are fixed. We got some of the specs. Let's start to do a little bit of a walk around here of the pack itself. The belt is nicely padded, and it's got 2 pockets. The belt can actually shift a little bit with your hips now. They redesigned it so that it can actually move a little bit. I think that's nice when you're walking a long way and you've got a heavy load, to be able to have that belt shifting a little wee bit in there, pivoting a little bit, I think is very useful. It just makes it more natural when you're walking. And so it doesn't make the pack waggle as much probably. I haven't really tested. I have walked around with 25 pounds in it, and I didn't feel like the pack was like waddling from side to side on me, even though I had, within 5 pounds of the limit on the pack. The pack also has the trademark Gossamer Gear sit pad, which I love. I love pulling this thing out at the end of the day, sitting on it when you're taking a break, laying on it when you're resting in the shade. So I really have enjoyed that. The straps, they were comfortable. I think the straps were good in the last version. They actually changed a little bit, made them more curved on each side. And I just think that's going to increase comfort. Again, having this on my body and carrying around 25 pounds with it for a while, test load, it felt really, really good. The other thing is the pockets. This is where the organization of this pack comes in. On the right side of the pack, you've got a low pocket you can use for water bottles. That's what I use. And then the upper part, you can put little odds and ends in here. I typically put my water filtration stuff in here. And so basically I got all my water on this side, 2 water bottles here, and I've got, my water filtration here, maybe a couple other things I might need, bug net, something like that. So these 2 pockets serve a purpose. You can reach these pockets by reaching back if you're somewhat flexible, so that works out really good. The front pocket here, I'm just gonna keep going around, is really spacious, and I really love this front pocket. They actually reinforced this more in this version. Before, this material didn't come up as high, and this version is a little bit heavier than the last version because they've actually thickened up the nylon that they used, and they've also added some pieces here too, but it's not significantly heavier. It has bungees here for the trekking poles. You can put the points of the trekking poles here, and then you just use this to trap the trekking poles in the flap top. It has a flap top, and then you do the same over here with the ice axe loop. You put the ice axe handle in there, flip it around, and then trap the handle up here in the other part of your pack. So that's how you do the ice axe and the trekking poles if you want to carry them. Here's the part that I love about this pack, and I don't know very many pack companies that do this. It has an asymmetrical pocket on the side. I have a Gossamer Gear G420 that I absolutely love because of this as well, because you don't have to put your shelter on top of your pack. You don't have to put it inside the pack. You don't have to worry about it being wet or muddy or anything, and you have it at the end of the day, because it's usually the first thing you want to put up is your shelter. You roll into camp, you got it right here. You don't have to dig, you don't have to open up your pack if it's raining. You just grab it and you set it up. I can fit the Gossamer Gear 2 in here, the 2-person shelter. I fit my Durston 1P in here really easily. And the other nice thing is I'm a fly fisherman, and I take a fly rod sometimes, or a tenkara rod, and I can stuff a tenkara rod alongside my shelter there, and I got the best of both worlds. I got my shelter and I got my tenkara rod ready to go when I'm ready to fish. So that's kind of the outside walk around of the pack. It's well designed. I love the pockets. I just feel like when I use this pack, everything feels like it's right with the world. Now the flap, the flap has a zipper pocket here. It's not really good for much. I wouldn't put anything bulky in here. I typically put permits in here, and I put like my map and stuff like that. If I take a paper map with me, something that's flat, so I don't really use it. The only thing I really don't like about this pack is the fact that it does have a flap. I'm a big fan of roll tops, especially my G420, because I can roll it down and it has little snaps on the side or little buckles on the side. I can take that roll top, instead of putting it together at the top, I can put down each side, and it really tightens in that load. And so this one's got a flap, and I can see the usefulness of this. Maybe you trap something in here, like a sleeping pad or something like that, if you want to. But anyway, it's got a little buckle here to tighten up the flap too a little bit. So it's got like a secondary buckle in here, and then inside, basically, there's a stay in here. I think it's an aluminum stay, if memory serves me. And so it's got a frame, a very, very light aluminum frame. And they ditched the pocket, like the bladder pocket inside. So if you are a water bladder user, you'll have to like figure out your own pocket, I guess, from now on. So I'm reaching here just to make sure I'm not lying to you, because I've seen their videos. Yeah, it's not, there's no bladder in there. So basically you'll have to like figure out your bladder situation. It does have openings for the hose to come out of the bladder in the back here. But I don't use water bladders inside my backpack, so it doesn't really matter. Now it is nylon, so it's not waterproof, so you have to use some kind of a bag liner or some kind of rain cover. I've used many packs like this with this nylon, and I use a pack liner, and I've been in the rain, snow, sleet, and it's not really been that big of a deal to me, and so I don't see that being a huge issue, as long as you use some type of a waterproof liner with your pack. And so overall, this is going to fill the bill for me in terms of use cases on long food carries, winter carries, whether I'm using a BV 500 or not. If I'm using my 450, usually I can get away with my 40-liter pack, my Gossamer G420, and I have another 40-liter pack that has a more like waterproof material it's made out of. But this pack will fit the bill, and I'm really, really thinking seriously, after a few test hikes here in Pennsylvania, this is probably the pack that I'm going to take on Uinta Highline, because it just offers a lot of extra room for that extra food I've got to take, 8 days of food on that particular hike. So that, my backpacking friends, is the Mariposa 60-liter, the brand new design. I'm super excited about it, and I cannot wait to get it out there. So until next time, backpackers, get out there. Do some backpacking, do some hiking. Stop watching YouTube videos, unless they're mine. Then watch them all from start to finish.